Welcome to WNBA Hoop Streams presented by Google. Welcome one and all into Studio E here in Bristol, Connecticut, alongside the creator of Highlight Her, Ari Chambers. I'm Sam Ravech. The first round of the playoffs has concluded, and now we move on to the semifinal rounds that tip on ESPN on Sunday night. Before we get to that, though, Ari, we will not just gloss over the fact that this was one of the more exciting first rounds of the playoffs that I think I remember in most recent memory. But your overall thoughts on the first round?
I mean, yeah, exciting. I was at Barclays for both of the games. It was the loudest environment you can ever have. And then game two against Liberty in Atlanta, they had Ja Rule performing. I Got My Life. Pharrell was there. Whoopi Goldberg was there. It's the place to be. The WNBA is such a hot spot right now. We're going to keep it going seasons to come.
Yes, and the WNBA never ceases to amaze. Now, let me know if I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Connecticut sweep Caitlin Clark to advance to their sixth straight semifinals.
Yeah.
Napheesa Collier puts up 42 points, tied for most of anybody
Literally,
in postseason
how do you
history.
average 40 points?
42 points in the win last night. And, oh, by the way, you know who else is going to the semifinals? That would be the Aces, who are searching for their third straight championship. Did I leave anything out in the first round?
You know what? It's almost like the top four are the top four for a reason. And it's not just like a even kill top four. They had made statement appearances in the first round, and it showed exactly why. We were wondering about how they would peak, and if it's peaking too early, or are they okay? Are the reigning champs okay? No, everybody showed up and showed exactly why they had home court advantage, because honey.
You talked about atmosphere. I mean, how about the atmosphere in Uncasville, Connecticut last night? Uncasville, yes, that's right. The Connecticut Sun looking to close it out in two over the Fever. Here's how it played out. First quarter, this was a spicy game. This was spicy. DeWanna Bonner closing out Caitlin Clark. Things got a little bit chippy early on, but Caitlin even said, we're focused on basketball here. Was also an issue with a fan on the sideline. That got worked out. Jump ahead of the fourth. Alyssa Thomas fights the contact, puts up the bucket. Double-double machine. AT took over in the fourth quarter. Sun up 9, but back come the Fever. Clark's knocked down the jumper here. It was a cold night in Connecticut for Caitlin Clark, Ari, the last couple.
I mean, there's a reason why Connecticut has been in, you know, finals contention for years now, but they have great defense, but they have added Marina Mabry to the team, which is an offensive threat. And not only is she great on the offensive end, but she adds a tenacity, a nice little feistiness that is the puzzle piece that fits in perfectly with Connecticut. And DeWanna Bonner, her longevity, she just helps the fact that, hey, we don't have to always go to DB for these shots. We have extra threats, and that's what Connecticut showed. Connecticut said, hey, we've been here for a reason. We have all the pieces we need to be a championship contender. Don't let the third seed fool you. We're here.
So Caitlin Clark's 25 points, 9 assists, not enough to overmatch the balanced attack that Connecticut brought with them in the game. Connecticut sweep the Fever. So look, Caitlin Clark played much better, I think, in game two, Ari, than she did in game one. What do you think your biggest takeaway is going to be from Caitlin's first postseason endeavor?
Everybody's biggest takeaway is that playoff basketball is a different ballgame. Just like how she had to assimilate into the normal regular season, she has to assimilate to playoff basketball. Again, this is the Connecticut Sun team who is not new to being here. They have the hunger in them that they have not, that you can't measure against Indiana Fever. Indiana Fever hasn't made a playoff since 2014, right? And so to go 10 years without being in that playoff spot, you don't know what to expect. You have a young team led by a young core, and then Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark having to come together in a way that they haven't had to do yet. And so, all in all, Connecticut has a playoff experience, but I will say I was confused a little bit by Christy Side's decision of keeping Kelsey and Caitlin in that long. They looked fatigued.
Yes.
Right, probably in the beginning of the third quarter, and there was no let up for them. And so I was concerned about, like, hey, what about your bench utilization? You have so much money invested in Kaylee Lou Samuelson. Are you going to play her? And she has offensive threats herself. And Grace Berger, great on defense. I don't understand not utilizing your bench more.
Caitlin Clark scored or assisted on 74 points in the first round. She was responsible for 49% of all the offense for Indiana. So, like, to your point, they have a lot of great players on this team. She's a big part of it. Do you think they relied on her a little bit too much to try and...
It has to be a balanced effort, right? When you come to playoff times, everybody's good, top to bottom. But when you have Nalyssa Smith, who's one of your proven... She's the second overall pick for a reason. There's no reason why Nalyssa Smith should only be playing 4 minutes. I understand the systems go as they are, and I'm not going to question the coach. I'm not a coach, right? But when you have somebody who can get in there and get those rebounds, when you have somebody who can, like, go in the paint and make it work, why not try it? Why not try it? If the end goal was not met in game one, and you see the game getting away from you going into, the second half of the game, why not mix and match the rotation so that it can be not just Aaliyah Boston getting her 19 rebounds. She did great, rebounding. But if your offense is cold and you still have bench to play that is known talent, why not utilize it?
Well, you know who did? The Connecticut Sun.
Yeah, they
utilized their bunch, and they did it really well. 18 points off the bench in the win last night. What aspect of this team impressed you most over the first 2 games of the first round?
I would say just the overall fight. They wanted to make a statement. And I know I covered New York, Atlanta, and Leonie Fibich for New York said we have to make a statement game. Well, Connecticut must have heard that and said, hey, I guess we got to make a statement too. And not only the starters making the statement, but you have Marina Mabrey and Olivia Nelson-Ododa that really stepped up when their name was called. And that's what I see. I see a balanced effort, a deep effort, a way to get in under your opponent's skin. If there's anybody to get under somebody's skin, it's Marina Mabrey, and she can back it. When you have somebody who talks that much, that can back it with their offensive game, you never know what to do with her. And so she got the shot off that she wanted and made it work.
So obviously the Connecticut Sun, they've been here before. You mentioned that they're still searching. They're searching for that title. This year, it feels like the veteran leadership of this team. Obviously, you add in the defense, their versatility, AT, the double-double machine. Like, it feels like everything is in place for them to make a run. I just question, like, what's stopping them?
What's stopping them? It's funny, Sam, because I don't have a definite answer. They've had the skill set. Yeah. They've had every element. They just can't get over the edge. But I'm looking at going down the line. If it is New York, Connecticut facing off, they both have things to prove. Yeah. New York is the only original franchise who has not gotten a championship. You've seen Connecticut Sun, who has been right there on the brink of championship contention every single year for the past, 6 years now. So they're both fighting for the same thing, and it's just who wants it more. They have all the pieces. They have
sure
all the pieces.
No question. So Connecticut did their job and got the job done, winning in 2 over Indiana. And then all eyes kind of went over to the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, as the Lynx were going for a sweep of their own over DT and the Mercury. We're going to pick this one up in the 4th. Minnesota up by 11. Napheesa Collier, the feed from Kayla McBride, goes in for the layup. Lynx go up 13. Fee was on fire. Lynx up 16 now. Collier plays catch with Natisha Heidemann, ends up with an easy lay, and Lynx starting to pull away at this point, and pull away did they, because this was an all-out impressive performance. We talk about Fee putting up the 42 points. She scored 80 points, the most out of anybody through the first 2 games of a postseason in WNBA history. Respect from DT there, as it might have been her final game playing in the league. But let's just start here with Fee and Minnesota, because what we are seeing is historical. That what she is doing right now is historical. Can you put it into context for us? What part of her game has impressed you most?
She's so skilled. The skillfulness of Napheesa Collier cannot be overstated. She's very physical, she's very long, but she is skilled. She knows how to score on all 3 levels, whether that's near the basket, whether that's from range, getting her teammates the ball. We have Courtney Williams right here, who knows to dish it out to Fee, even though Courtney Williams is one of the best mid-range shooters. There's the trust that she demands from her team, but she's never been able to, she's never seen a basket she didn't like. She likes to rile up the crowd too, but honestly, Napheesa is the one who has the most well-rounded game to me, and you can't stop well-roundedness like that.
Yeah, 25 for 28 at the free throw line as well. I mean, she draws the contact. She's not afraid.
Not afraid.
No.
What are we talking about? Feisty Fee.
That's right, yeah.
Feisty Fee is here this year, and she said, I'm going to take what's mine.
Yeah.
When you take what's yours like that, you set the standard for the rest of your team. So they are going to be empowered to take what's theirs too.
Fee, friend of the program, by the way. She came on right before the
Shout out to
playoffs. She was getting her car washed, so clearly that helped her play.
She's a mother.
And she's a mother, doing that better than a lot of people, but she's doing so many great things for this team and for the Minnesota Lynx, as they will be taking on the Connecticut Sun in the first round. Let's dive a little bit deeper into this matchup, Ari. Who do you give the edge to in the semifinal? You're talking about the Lynx, talking about the Sun. Who gets the edge?
Yeah, so they both are going to give us. They're going to give us a great series. They have the same threats. They have improvement in the same swing way. I give the slight edge over to Minnesota right now, because Fee is playing such great basketball. They have the threats of Bridget Carlton, Kayla McBride. I mean, it's so similar. I think it's going to go the entire way. There's going to be no sweep in this situation. But as far as Minnesota's ball rotation and their defense is something that but Connecticut hasn't had a face, right? They've had Indiana in their first round, but when you have a Minnesota Lynx team that is so solid defensively and have so many weapons offensively, I give them the slight edge.
Okay, let's turn our attention now to the other semifinal. Yeah. And all due respect, Ari, to Atlanta and Seattle, I think this is the matchup that a lot of people wanted to see. And it just so happens that it comes in the semifinal round and not the final round. So the Aces and New York going to be squaring off just 11 months, by the way, after things wrapped up in the finals last year. Now, the Aces might have had the upper hand last year, but this regular season series was dominated by New York. Can the Aces flip the script on the Liberty and regain some of that postseason magic that they had last year?
The Aces can absolutely flip the script. We have to realize that they were not healthy playing New York at all in the beginning of the season. They're going into the matchup healthy, and we've seen what the benefit of that is. And Chelsea Gray, ever since playoffs has happened, has been in Chelsea Gray form, the point guard that we know. And the differentiator is the Aces have A'ja Wilson. Nobody else has A'ja Wilson, but we do have a Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquel Jones, Leonie Fibich, Courtney Vandersloot. There's so many, and Betnaja Laney. There's so many factors to the New York Liberty team that are looking strong, but the Aces have not even presented their best basketball yet because they are just now getting healthy. We were concerned about A'ja Wilson and that scary ankle injury when she faced Connecticut, and we were like, oh gosh, what's going to happen to the MVP? Jackie Young coming back from an Olympic break, she was a little wonky, but now she's back in the swing of things. You have Chelsea Gray, who has been out the first half of the season, but is finally coming into her own and being the point guard that we know that she is. They are coming in full health. Mind you, they beat the Liberty, a very different looking Liberty team last season, with their bench.
Right.
So going into it, it's gonna be kind of crazy.
It is just must-watch television whenever those two square off on the same floor. Talk about the Liberty here. We kind of put them in the same frame of reference when you're talking about winning that first elusive championship as Connecticut. Who do you think needs to step up for them in this semifinal round? What's a player for an X factor for the Liberty for you?
I say this all the time. Jonquel Jones is always the X factor for me, but Leonie Fibich came in and made history as a rookie.
Right.
Just her performance in that game against Atlanta. But my X factor is always going to be Jonquel Jones. You have her and A'ja Wilson in the paint battling, and it's going to be a physical game. It's never not a physical game between the Aces and the Liberty. But if they can lock in all aspects of their players, then they'll be fine.
How about Sabrina, too? I mean, she struggled to score the last two games of the regular season. I think she had 8 points and 5 points. And then she gets into the postseason, all of a sudden it feels like to me.
She loves big moments.
No question, but it feels like when she is controlling and running the offense, she actually opens up more shots for herself and more opportunities for herself to score. So her distribution opens up offense for her.
She's stretched the game so much this season, and just kudos to her. But it's like when she has a bad game, Stewie can step up. But I think that the real X factor for, especially playing a team like the Aces that are so, paint heavy, it's gonna be a battle in the paint. So Jonquel is gonna be my X factor still, even though we know what Sabrina's capable of.
We sure do. Who do you give the edge to as far as the bench?
Oh, the bench.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna have you do a prediction yet. Not yet.
Okay, we have a Tiffany Hayes and Alicia Clark on the Vegas bench. We have a Sloot, Kayla, Niara, Kennedy on the Liberty bench. I still will give the slight edge to the Aces bench.
Okay.
Oh, Sydney Colson too. Like, she's always ready when her name's called. But just the physicality, the veteran leadership of the bench of the Aces, I give an edge to.
Okay. We know that
defense.
We know that, yes, that's right. We know you have a very special relationship with dogs, obviously.
God.
I mean, and can we talk about what we saw here?
Oh my God.
You want to walk us through this, Ari?
I will walk you through our little furry friends. Okay, Ellie is not the only animal running the girls at Barclays, right? We have these dogs who have their fursies on, New York Liberty season ticket holders. They're furry pals. They've been outside of Barclays supporting the Liberty, and they really want them to win. So I don't know if the dogs will bring extra luck to the top seeded team in the New York Liberty, but they've really been showing out, and they're going to do a parade mid-October at the end. Yeah, they've planned this, and they've been planning this for months. And so I'm glad that they've been able to camp outside of Barclays and give them a little sprinkle of luck.
#1 super fans right there outside of Barclays cheering on the team. Now, we just talked about Sabrina Ionescu and the Liberty. They lost in the finals last year. No secret about it. But when you play in New York, sometimes you just get that feeling in the postseason that everybody is around you, including some celebrities. She found that out firsthand.
Spike Lee gave me a high five.
I saw that. I thought that was so dope.
As I was going to take the ball, out of bounds, and I felt like New York was just like injected into my veins. At that moment, I was like,
he was like Spider-Woman or something.
We're winning this. Like, it was just injected. Like, it just came all the way through.
Now it's time to take a look at what fans are searching for, presented by Google. Searches for WNBA Defensive Player of the Year 2024 spiked 4,300% in the U.S. after Game 1 of the playoffs. Now, A'ja Wilson, the two-time reigning winner of this award, somehow has put up career highs in steal and block rates in the WNBA, but Minnesota's Napheesa Collier has been on another level this year. Ari, add in her versatility as well to guard multiple positions. Might make her the front runner, but who do you give the edge to in this award?
Okay, this is very difficult for me, and I cannot tell you all which one as a voter I voted for, but as far as Napheesa Collier, she's the best defensive player on the best defensive team in the league. Napheesa gets the nod from me for right now as I'm considering her resume. Listen, the Lynx have been the best team defense in the WNBA. Napheesa leads the WNBA in defensive rating this year by a wide margin, and opponents have shot nearly 5% worse from the field when she's on the floor. And she leads the WNBA individually in defensive win shares per 40 minutes played, and she's second in steals per game. Napheesa is just both ends of the floor, so disruptive. Again, we called her Feisty Fee the other week on Hoop Streams. And look, Fee's locked in. She has it locked down. So I think that right now, especially because A'ja got the MVP, let's just be honest, like A'ja got the MVP. Out of respect for Napheesa in the individual awards, I think she gets the nod for Depoy.
Very fair, too, and second in the league in steals for Fee this year.
Yep.
I will just say on A'ja, the ability for her to do everything that she does on the offensive side of the floor, which we know Fee can do as well. The rebounding, I think, plays a big role in this, right?
Sam,
it's
this is why she's MVP. Like, this is why A'ja is MVP. She's led in most statistical categories.
Right.
There's no doubt in my mind why A'ja Wilson should be a defensive player of the year. And she knows how to disrupt. She knows how to block. Look at her. She doesn't let anybody score on her. Like, she has a different mentality. But as far as respectability politics when it comes into play, and for what Napheesa has been able to do this season, I would give the slight nod. Knowing voters and knowing how the league has historically run, it's going to be Napheesa.
All right, no question about it. So Fee, probably the front runner in this one. But you wanted to give a little shout out to somebody who also won another award a couple of days ago.
DiJonai Carrington step up to the plate. I think that DiJonai has been so disruptive on both ends of the floor. She has such a peskiness about her that really frazzles the offense. And she's a great perimeter defender, if not one of the best in the league. And she has the best player as an assignment year after year, day after day, night after night. And so because of the assignment that she has, because of her ability to steal and run the floor and just get her shot off after it, it's like defense turns into offense. DiJonai got it.
Yeah, she sure does. And she also has gone through a lot on and off the floor, dealing with some injuries. And she talked about some of those trials and tribulations post-game. Take a look.
From high school to now, just all the injuries, the year-long rehabs, like, unless you go through it, injuries like that, like, you really don't understand what it takes to get you out of those places. And so, like, whenever I'm on the court and whenever I'm playing, I literally think back to those days in rehab, those days in physical therapy and all those things. Just, I mean, you see I'm out there, I'm having fun. Like, I love basketball, and I know it's like to have it taken away. And so I think that that's the biggest thing for me is I've never really, like, won awards before. I've never been an All-American besides, like, academically, which I guess is cool, too. But and I was super, super surprised. They were like, Kathy wants to call you. And I'm like, oh, my God, what did I tweet this time? But it was good. But, yeah, I was just excited. I was at home, and it was a special moment to share.
So average career highs in points, rebounds, steals, assists this year. Her fourth year in the league. She talked about it there. It is a long road to get to where she has gotten in her career. Now she's finally reaping the rewards. I mean, she went through it. She went through it, Ari, and she continues to go through it.
I have all these notes about DiJonai, and I get emotional talking about her because knowing her as a person and everything she has to go through night after night, she shows up her best self every single day. And for her to know, like, last season, if you witnessed last season, she didn't really find her fit with the Connecticut Sun. Right? She was second round. She wasn't supposed to be here.
Right.
We didn't know what her future was for the WNBA. But for her to lock in and say, I'm going to get better every single year, every single night, I'm going to assume the role that my coach puts on me and really go out and give it my all, and she never lets up. That's the thing about her. She's so relentless in her pursuit of excellence every single night. I don't know if it's a Stanford in there, but she doesn't really mention that much. But like, it's just academically, yes, but put that IQ to basketball, put that tenacity to basketball, put that willingness to get better year after year, knowing that you're the underdog, knowing that you're crawling from a place where people are doubting you. Dejanay has improved in every statistical category, just like you said, but the future is limitless for her because she works so hard and she can discipline herself and tune things out in a way that I haven't seen from a lot.
One of the best ways to figure out how much a player means to a team is to hear from her teammates.
Yep.
And her teammates are the ones that always build her up and say that we need her. She is a huge, massive part of our success this year, and she continues to get better and better every single year. So we're talking all about these player awards. Ari, we can't go without mentioning the GOAT, DT, who might have played her final game. Might be the operative award. We all say one more year for Diana Taurasi, but she even got a standing ovation in the playoffs on the road. Take a look. All right, speaking of games, you ready to play one, Ari?
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I was distracted by Diana's shorts. Sorry.
In what way?
Long.
In what way?
They're literally so long. It's giving early 2000s.
It is. All right, I have one question for you. Is it true that everyone is looking for a man in finance, 6'5", blue eyes?
And you missed the trust one. I'm looking for a man in finance. Yeah. You know.
Is it true, though?
Sam, you know, I want to remain your teammate and friend. So,
because I'm 0 for 4 on all of those. So
we could have lied and told the people you were 6'5" and nobody would have known.
Yeah.
Nobody would have known.
People would have known. People would have known. So what we're going to do here in this game, Ari, we're going to take turns describing players in the playoffs, eliminated or not, and we're going to use kind of that trend to describe these players. You ready to, ready to roll?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Are you going to sing it?
I'm going to go first. I will not sing it because I have a terrible voice. So ready, here. I'm looking for a leader, not afraid to score down low, and doesn't mind spending her winter months in Minnesota. Now.
Why would you give me the state, Sam?
I didn't write it. I mean, you need some clues.
That's gotta be Napheesa.
Yeah, I think there's only one answer there, and that would be
Napheesa Collier.
Napheesa Collier. Yeah. Did we get it right? Yes, we did. All right.
Okay.
1 for 1. All right.
Here we go. I'm looking for an all-around superstar that leads by example. This isn't going with the cadence. Anyway, and knows how to navigate around Sin City.
Okay.
Here go the cities again.
What do you think?
This is you.
Okay. Oh. I see. You're reading. Okay. I messed up the rules. Well, I mean, it's got to be MV3, right?
MV3. Ooh, that sounds nice.
It does sound nice.
3.
Right?
Is Asia Wilson your final answer?
Yeah, it is.
Hey! Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
I'm reading this one. I'm looking for a consistent performer, great longevity, loves Huskies, and it's someone who knows that they're a goat.
So dogs and goats. And long shorts.
The animals.
You and very long shorts. It's gotta be Diana Taurasi.
Ding, 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 ding.
Look
Diana Taurasi. I just really wish it's not the final time that we see her. I don't know. I know we keep saying.
She's gonna pop up back on it, just like we thought she wasn't gonna do the Olympics this year, and she did, and you got a gold anyway. Yeah. She's full of surprises. I'm looking for someone that doesn't mind Connecticut autumn, loves seafood, and doesn't mind loading up on Old Bay seasoning. I actually do not know this one.
Sounds like me, to be honest.
Honestly, it's Sam. Sam, final answer.
I do love Connecticut. I love all those things. So I don't know. I am married, though. I love my wife, Hannah. Thank you. I don't know.
Is it giving list? Is it giving a list of Thomas?
It's a little bit, maybe AT. Is she from Maryland?
She's from Pennsylvania, but she went to Maryland.
Okay, well maybe that's the Old Bay tie-in. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I hope she loves seafood. Yeah. Unless I have no idea if
you don't know. We're
here
just
we are.
guessing there, but all right. We got 2 left. This one, I'm looking for a floor general, someone who doesn't need the spotlight. That's a key there. Willing to move coast to coast and is also friendly with hilarious masks.
Okay, I got this one unlocked. I know this one because she always comes in when Ellie. When Ellie walks, does her tunnel fit, she's like, I'll wait.
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing because by force and by choice, not by choice, but by force, it has to be Sabrina. Because her and Ellie are like, this.
Plus you got the coast to coast thing in there. Yep. Ding, ding, ding.
It's not me getting it from Ellie instead of the Coast to Coast. Okay, I'm looking for someone that's 6'4", loves orange, great longevity, big blocks, and is the top 5 scorer in WNBA history. The cadence was good until it wasn't. Okay.
I got to imagine we're talking Mercury here, right?
I don't think so, actually.
No? 6'4", loves orange. That's why I went with a Mercury, but maybe we're...
What other team is orange, Sam?
Maybe we're going with Connecticut?
Now 6'4".
We go DB?
DB. I
that's
believe
my
it's
guess.
DB.
I'm going
DB, final answer. We're looking for Dewana Bonner. Yeah.
Oh, did we get them all right?
Barely.
No.
We did the best we could.
We did the best we could.
We didn't see the answers, y'all. We did
wiggled
not.
our way through that. Thank you to Shelby and Justin who put that together. That was a really fun game. By the way, do you know statistically speaking, like there's like 0.17% of men that are
so you're going back to this 6'5", blue eyes.
I'm just saying, like, let's be realistic here.
Let's not make my teammate bitter, y'all. Right. No more songs like that, okay? Thanks.
All right. You're watching WNBA Hoop Streams presented by Google, guys. Thank you so much again. Bold predictions for the semifinals. We got 2 really awesome matchups.
So I don't know if it's a bold prediction, but both going to Game 5. So
no sweeps.
No sweeps. Game 5. Okay. I got 3 overtimes just because I like OT. There's never much love when we go OT. All the things.
Just a reminder too, Ari. Let's not forget. So we went for 3 games in the first round. Now we go to 5-game series, right? The rest of the way in the semis and the finals. So both teams will have the opportunity to play at home in the semifinal rounds. I mentioned, like you talked about X factors. I mentioned Sabrina as a real big X factor. I'm going to say she will lead the Liberty in scoring throughout the semifinal round. I think she, again, like the Aces ranked 9th in the league in 3-point field goal defense. She has started to shoot the ball incredibly well beyond the arc, and I think they're going to be keyed in on some other players on that team.
Will they be locking her down and leaving Leone open, though, who has an outside shot?
That will be a fantastic matchup to watch defensively, how the Aces play the Liberty defensively on that one. So it's going to be really, really fun. And the best part about it all, we will be with you guys all throughout the rest of the postseason. We have a ton more shows coming up, breaking down each game and round, as well as some finals shows coming up on WNBA Hoop Streams. Thank you so much for watching WNBA Hoop Streams presented by Google. That will do it for us. For Ari Chambers, I'm Sam Ravech, and our wonderful crew. Enjoy the semifinal round, everybody.
Happy playoffs!